Hello, this is the IEEE Consultants, Networks, and Services. My name is Dr. Gary Blank. I am the former president in 2014 of IEEE USA. I've also served as the chair of the IEEE's Consultant Networks Coordinating Committee. I'd like to share with you today the news we have to exchange with you about the Consultants Networks and the services and some of the things that are available to our members. First of all, we'll have a list of topics. I will explain in detail for those who like a better definition, what is a consultant? The IEEE Consultants Network and the IEEE Local Consultants Networks. It's going to be explained to you the difference between the two. There's an IEEE Consultants Network and there's an IEEE Local Consultants Networks. Then number 3, we'll expand on the IEEE Consultants Network. That's the first topic in number 2. Then number 4 will be an expansion of the second topic, which is the IEEE Local Consultants Networks. And then we'll talk more about something called the Consultants Database, which is a service provided by IEEE. Then topic number 6 is what is the structure of a local consultants network? Topic number 7, what are the resources available for our members? Topic number 8, local networks in existence today within IEEE. Topic number 9, what can we expect will happen in the future? And finally, we'll conclude this discussion. What is a consultant? Well, sometimes people need to be reminded of what the role of consultant is. A consultant is a person who provides expert advice professionally. Very often a consultant is not an employee of a company. They're usually self-employed people who are hired by companies to come in, do a temporary job that may last a few weeks or a few months, depending on how much advice is needed, and then they move on to something else. It's a person who provides expert advice professionally. Now, the IEEE Consultants Network and the IEEE Local Consultants Networks may sound very much alike, but are a little bit different. Let me explain to you what that means. The IEEE USA started with a committee, and still in purpose today, they're still doing their function, which is called the AICN-CC. What does that stand for? It's the Alliance of IEEE Consultants Networks Coordinating Committee. This is a committee in which I have served and continue to serve, and this committee is very active, and they're doing 2 things. Look at the 2 arrows that are pointing to the bottom. They support the IEEE Consultants Network, which we will discuss in more detail on the next slide. But meanwhile, they also create and coordinate IEEE Local Consultants Networks. So we have the IEEE Consultants Network, that's one of those. And then we have local consultants networks around the country and around the world. All right? Let's talk first about what is the IEEE Consultants Network. Now, these are services provided by IEEE USA, and this is open to all IEEE members at no additional cost. You'll find that you can verify this, and you can check for this, and it won't cost you anything on your annual registration form. So every member of IEEE has the option to become a part of the IEEE Consultants Network at no cost. The members receive quarterly newsletters about the consulting business and what's going on in the consulting world, and this is all included. Members have access to an annual consultants webinar series, many of which are live and some have been recorded from before. Members can take advantage of the IEEE Consultants Exchange, which is part of the IEEE Collaboratech. And they have access to archived webinars. Sometimes people like to go listen to courses like What is Consulting 101, then go on to Consulting 102. And these things are available to all members once you become an IEEE Consulting Network member, which you can do at no cost. And finally, you have access to a consultants library, which is also included in the package of being an IEEE member, part of the IEEE Consultants Network. Now we go on to talk about, well, what's the difference? What are the local consultants networks? Well, the local consultants networks are people who are focused already in the consulting business, and they are happy to have any member who's not a consultant join them if they choose to. But in the local consultants networks, many of which are around the country and around the world, I'll tell you more about those, the first thing the local consultants networks do is they assist with the startup of local IEEE consulting networks. So within sections, within regions, and within countries, you find that consultants networks are being started. These are individual consulting networks that consist of people who are already in the business of consulting, and you can see a little bit of what they're doing. It encourages networking. We have found that one of the most powerful tools in the industry today is for consultants to talk to each other, exchange information back and forth between fellow members within your own section, within your own network, within your own region, and within any organization that you're part of. So we like to encourage networking, and we do this quite a bit. We provide educational opportunities for members of the local consultants networks because they are focused on this as their source of income. Then we provide a database where industry comes to IEEE website to find IEEE consultants. We have a listing of our consultants who choose to be available to industry. This requires a member annual fee that you would pay in addition to your regular registration fee. But this, again, is just something that's available to the people who choose to become part of a local consultants network, because the databases are available on the internet for industry to come and find IEEE consultants. And for this service, we require a member annual fee. These people are people who are already committed to being in a database. They have their resumes there, they have their expertise there, and they can be found by industry. We provide members with a consultant's fee survey so they can see roughly what consultants are charging in various geographical areas with various degrees and various kind of projects. So it provides consultants fee survey, which is a very helpful thing to have so you have an idea of what to charge if you were a consultant. The local consultants networks also, with the help of IEEE USA, they conduct workshops regularly and training programs to help people who are in consulting or who want to become consultants, and teaches them how to conduct their business, how to find clients, how to get paid, and so forth. And finally, we have a variety of e-books available, which the local consultants networks would provide to the members of the local consultants networks. Now, the database is something that has gotten a lot of attention, and so needs a bit more attention here again. Imagine being able to include your resume on the IEEE website, where people come looking for an IEEE consultant, because when people are looking for consultants industry, they say, where can we find a consultant? And very often they say, well, let's try the IEEE, see what they have available. When they come to the IEEE website, they will find people who've included their resumes, who are willing to work in various areas, and everyone, including potential company clients, has access to search for consultants. So you can find a consultant if you know what you're looking for, what field of expertise, geographically where, what degrees this person should have, what their expertise ought to be in, and so forth. You can find the people who are already in the consultants database, and everyone has the opportunity, if they want to be included, but that's where the registration fee comes in. Now, it's easy to find consultants needed. Industries come back to us and said, you know, I need a consultant to solve a problem, and they describe the problem. We went to the IEEE USA database, we found a consultant, we hired a consultant, they did a very good job, and we're very pleased, and we'll come back and do it again. So we're very excited with the fact that the consultants database has been very popular with industry. Some companies are even allowed to come to our website and show things they're looking for. They may say things like, they'll post it, we need a consultant in the area of whatever it is, whether it be software or hardware, and we don't charge them for that. But we do make a point that before we put it on the internet, we look at it to be sure it's not just a robot, or perhaps it might be something that may not be appropriate to be on our website. So a company can come and say, we want to consult in a certain area, and they can look at the database, and if they don't find what they like, they can post it and somebody may come by and take a look at that and say, I think I'd like to try that. So the structure of a local consultants network goes something like this. Within a section, we form a consultants network. You only need 5 members to say, you know, we'd like to start a consultants network. And we do it through our section. And when you do it, the section will become like your sponsor. There's no money involved in doing this. And so the section becomes the sponsor. They sponsor your network. Your network can get started, having its own meetings and do whatever it wants to do. And I should add to this that some networks, when they're formed, and we have so many of them around the country and around the world, some of them will charge membership because they provide meals, they provide training, and other things like that. We have some networks that charge nothing at all. We have some that charge, but the charges are very small. Many of them have their own database in addition to the IEEE USA database, and so they charge for that too. So within a section, we create a consultants network. We call it a local consultants network. It's local to that section, and automatically it can become an affinity group. Now, what does that mean? An affinity group is a word used by IEEE and IEEE USA to describe an organization that is recognized by the organization to be called an affinity group. And what this means, it's sort of a status symbol, but it also provides income to the section who sponsored the consultants network. So if the group becomes, if the consultants network becomes an affinity group, which is an automatic thing, and they have meetings and they fill out the proper paperwork at the end of the year, the section will benefit by receiving income from IEEE for that affinity group. So there are many good benefits to the section as well as to the network, and so the sections are very enthusiastic about forming networks, and these networks are growing very rapidly. Now, within a region, you may have several sections, and the sections may have networks of their own. We have sections where they have more than one network within a section. There's nothing wrong with that. And then we have networks that belong to 2 sections at the same time because geographically it may have made sense to do something like that. However, within a region you can have as many networks as you want to have. The regions are supporting that because it means more activity. It's more what the members want. And so within a region we have several networks. And so within the IEEE around the world, we have consultants networks, not only in the United States, but they also exist in many foreign countries because the IEEE is an international organization. All right. Now, what resources do we provide for all of our members? First of all, there are many, many seminars. Many of them are live, and many of them are recorded, and you have access to them so you can learn about consulting and look for subjects that might be of interest to you. We find that the one best things for the members, they get a lot of referrals. I myself have benefited from the fact that many of the members around the country and within my own network have pointed me in the direction of finding consulting business, and I reciprocate by doing the same for them. So we have a lot of referrals among ourselves, and so it becomes a little easier to find clients. That comes under the heading, of course, of networking. That's what we're doing, is really networking among ourselves. And so when we get together at these consultants meetings, we do a lot of networking. We talk about each other. We talk about our specialties, what we're looking for. We talk about things we've heard, what companies are looking for, what kind of consultants. And so this becomes a very effective way of doing that. We have a series of e-books that are available. And also, we should talk about what's in existence today. There are over 40 local consultants networks in regions 1 through 6. And there are about 8 or more local consultants networks in regions 7 through 10. We can find out where they all are because they're all listed by region on the IEEE USA website. You'll find it goes from region 1 through region 10 and gives you the names of all the local consultants networks within those regions and how to contact the leaders to get further information. The networks are also listed by state or country, so there are actually like 2 directories. One shows you regions 1 through 10. The other one shows you by state, alphabetically within the United States and within the countries around the world. And these are all available either way by region or by state and country on the IEEE USA website. what to expect in the future. Well, we're seeing some rapid growth and expansion. There are more networks and more members being involved because there seems to be a trend towards self-employed consulting, and this is a healthy sign for many of our members and for our economy. It's attracting members to the IEEE. We have people who say, you know, if IEEE can make these consulting services available, I think I would like to be a member of IEEE. And so we're using this as a very good way of attracting membership. We're finding industries getting involved. Industries coming and looking at the IEEE consultants and using the consultants. And we find that industry is becoming more aware of our existence. And we find that more members are becoming aware this way of consulting activities. So even if you start off by choosing not to be a member of a local network, or just to be, on the other hand, a member of the IEEE Consultants Network, you can do that in a registration form. And the information you would get would teach you more about what's going on within the local consultants network, so you can see if it's something you want to pursue further, or maybe not. So this brings me to the end of my presentation. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you learn a little bit more about consulting. There's a lot more to talk about, but we try to keep it down to a reasonable amount of time to give you a few ideas of what's going on so you can now take this information and move forward with it. So I'd like to thank you very much for your attention, and I hope our paths will cross. Thank you very much.